Can anybody see me out there? I don't know. Well, I'm going to start out talking about a few things, I guess. Well, we'll let a few people get in here. It looks like it's working. All right. So here we go. First, I would just like to start out with a trigger warning on pretty much everything. I'm going to be reading some mental health poems. So there's going to be some Muppets, some addiction, self-harm, sexual abuse, He-Man, all of it. You name it. But first, since we're just waiting a few minutes before this thing actually starts, I'm going to play a song from the greatest mental health advocate band of all time. So here we go. I'm really serious. Tomorrow, yeah. That's just one song off the epic Ghost Nipples album, Behind the Towel. You should check it out. All right, so I've given the trigger warning. Everybody knows that. Ask some questions while I'm going along if you want, and then when I'm done, I'll talk about those. I had some stats about mentally ill people that I was going to share, but you can Google those yourself. Suicide, shot by cops, mental health institutions being closed down, all of that. But what I did want to talk about a little bit was that recently the mentally ill have started forming our own culture, rules, terms, definitions, all of that stuff. It's very new to us. So, you hear the term neurotypical or neurodivergent these days. I prefer crazies and normies, so you'll probably be hearing that a lot. But that's just me. And if you don't know why the distinction needs to be made, then I don't know what to tell you. Except that we're living in a world full of that the normies made all their rules. Potluck dinners, work parties, standing in line, any holiday tradition that involves seeing your extended family. Probably a normie came up with that. And I know it's scary because it can happen to anyone at any time, at any point in their life. There's no worse fear for most people than losing your mind. But trust me, it ain't really that bad. But in the meantime, we've internalized the stigma. It's all in our heads. Try harder. Diet and exercise. We're violent people. We're just looking for attention. Well, I think enough of that. We shouldn't be stigmatizing ourselves or letting other people do it for us. So I implore my fellow crazies to never be ashamed of any of your symptoms: mania, depression, hallucinations, self-harm, anxiety, etc. So you can't get out of bed one day. So what? Don't get out of bed. Who's telling you? Who's making these rules that you have to get out of bed if it's crushingly overwhelming? People think they know, oh, get out of bed, it's going to help you. Nah, maybe it's not. We don't really need your advice. Empathy, maybe. All right, so now we're at 6. I've given my spiel. How's everyone doing? Well, here we go. One way or the other. This isn't really a poem. Like a committee of crazy people got together and we came up with our 10 commandments. 1, do what you got to do to survive. 2, see number 1. 3, crazies never lie to crazies. 4, never completely trust a sane. 5, better dead than sane. 6, when all else fails, go to sleep. 7, don't live by normie rules. 8, crazies before normies. 9, there's only one thing we say to normies, not today. 10, everything is hell. Now, of course, rules are a normie construct, so you can forget about that. But, all right, so, there's little things floating above the thing. Let's get to some poetry. This one's called Dawn. She says, where's the receipts? I said, you're soaking in them, honey. She said, how much did you spend? I said, I squeezed a Charmin, baby. Not good. Mr. Whipple ain't fucking around. She said, Dan, I'm serious now. I said, Dan ain't in this poem. All right. Good night, everybody. Good reading. Thank you. I'm just kidding. He-Man, you schmarmy bastard. You're not fooling anyone. You drug half of us out kicking and screaming. Ram Man, Extendar, Fisto, you have to be kidding me. I see the way you and Beastman look at each other, the glances that passed in battle. Don't you have enough going on? What with ruling Eternia and the way Man-at-Arms' mustache feels fatherly against your cheek? Who wouldn't want to see you soaked in rainwater? Me. I have a fucking skull for a head. No one wants to hang out with a kid who has a skull for a head. Let's put it this way. I didn't get invited to many parties. What choice did I have then but to be evil? The gods decided on a whim I would be your eternal foe. Losing. Always losing. Could it be that simple? Fuck you and that stupid cat you rode in on. Let me into Grayskull, you sleek, shirtless barbarian. You beautiful bourgeois man. Let me into motherfucking Grayskull, you beautiful, beautiful bastard. Okay? This one is called C is for Cookie. I won't believe this is real anymore. Like I'm going to just lay here all night shaking, thinking again of the cookie when there's a jar full in the kitchen, and if those are gone, a gas station just down the road. It's hard. My father loved the Oreo, and his father the macaroon. It was good enough for them, I thought. It's good enough for me. But cookies are what got me into this mess. Cookies are why I quiver. But I'd known only hunger when the chickens for my cookie-eating days finally came home to roost. The things I did all hopped up on cookies do not suffer forgiveness. I've been a bad monster. In my endless thirst, maybe I wasn't thinking straight. Maybe she'd given me all the forgiveness she had to give. Maybe it didn't matter that I had given up cookies, because I still thought of them. I still kept one in my dress drawer just in case. You don't have to talk when you've got a fig Newton in your mouth. There's no room to think with a mind full of sugar. So when she asked, I cracked one wide, and a million different fortunes spread before us. I opened my mouth to say so, but it hung a gaping black wound. All I've known my entire life is silence, except deep down, where it whispers insistently, madly, finally, cookie, cookie, cookie. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. This one's called Brutal. I've never read it to anyone ever out loud, except Jeanette Powers and Margaret tonight when I was practicing. Brutal. Let's have a gay night, he said. A gay night? Of course, we didn't know what he meant. I was 8 and my cousin Terry was 9. We were staying the night with our great aunt and our 19-year-old cousin Larry, who lived with her. Larry was handsome, and he could almost dunk a basketball, which partly explained our admiration. He seemed to like hanging out with us. Earlier, Terry and I, who grew up in the same house, had been playing army with him in our backyard. Larry was tall, lean, dark-skinned. Looking back on it, over 30 years later, I'm surprised and a bit upset that I remember him as being so attractive. A gay night, he said. We all do it. It makes us men. First, let's show our dicks to each other. This is where coherency ends. What I remember are flashes, bits and pieces, some of it. I didn't remember until a few years ago when I and Terry talked about it for the first time. Terry and I were nervous. We laughed a lot. We finally all pulled our dicks out. Larry was hard as a rock, huge it seemed to me, surrounded by a dark thatch of pubic hair. Terry's was just naturally big. Mine wasn't. So it, of course, became the butt of the jokes for the night. It didn't help that I was fat, a little plump pig, which Larry seemed to enjoy. After we'd pulled our cocks out and talked about them for a bit, Larry invited us downstairs. Our great aunt had one of those old-fashioned exercise machines down there, one with a limp, stained belt. Let's take turns putting our dicks on it and turning it on, Larry said. So we did. Somehow, this is the worst part of it. Has always been the worst part of it. Thinking back, which I try not to do, it's the monster in the basement. Dirty and stained. I gotta keep losing my place because I can't see. I gotta start. I knew even then that this was the turning point. There was no going back after the monster. I even thought about stopping it then. Other than this, we mostly just went to church together. Larry would sit beside us, smacking green apple gum, and asking as quietly as he could which girls in church we might fuck, if we had the chance. We thought that was really cool. He even asked us about his sister, who had some sort of weird 8-year-old crush on. It got worse, of course. It was all about what we would do to him. Would we touch his balls? Would we take his dick in our mouth? I did. Hating it and liking it at the same time. I honestly can't remember what Terry did. I'm sure it was much the same. When I titled this Brutal, I expected it to be brutal. Other than a surreal poem I wrote and published in the 90s, this is the only thing I've ever written about that experience. The poem dealt in symbolism. I told myself, if I ever have the guts to write about it, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be honest and detailed. The details, however, are like an impressionist painting. Parts of it, like the monster, are painfully vivid. Larry's white teeth, his beautiful body. The rest is images, textures, feelings of guilt and desire mixed up into one. The taste of his cock and how I remember it being both hard and somehow soft at the same time. The way the skin of it followed my lips. Whenever I would think about writing this, I'd think there's a book in it. There's not. There are just these images. Whatever else there might have been would have been about the aftermath, and I've written about that until it's meaningless. The next morning, I woke up naked on the living room floor. Larry had uncovered me to show his sister. She was laughing at how fat I was. Terry was already dressed for church. We didn't see Larry much after that. He decided we weren't really that cool to hang out with after all, and I guess we felt the same. The next time I remember seeing him was at my brother's funeral. He was still handsome. He had rented a movie, Better Off Dead. And the next time I heard about Larry, he had died in a motorcycle accident. My hometown, Leadwood, kills a lot of people. I was happy he was dead. I'm not sure I am anymore. When I was young, I would feel like, or people would think, I was a really fucked up person. They would think maybe it was because my brother had died when I was 13 and I lit them. But it wasn't. It was this. Terry and I were very, very drunk in our 30s at a bar when I finally said something about it. You know why we're so fucked up, I asked. Larry, he said. I nodded. The thing I most remembered, he said, was Larry fucking you in the ass. I hadn't remembered. You screamed like a pig, Terry said. I remembered then. I remembered everything. Hands, knees, and pain. All right. Bruce Banner wakes up hungover. Gamma Rays, book about the Hulk. Bruce Banner wakes up hungover and wonders what the Hulk has done now. Was it a night out with women? Was it a fist fight in a parking lot? Was it case after case of natural light? Bruce can't remember, and he's better off that way, he thinks. He's never been good with guilt. It's a river he doesn't swim well, like he's always fighting against the current, like the drugs he takes to try and keep the Hulk away. But there's always a Hulk, and there's always a hangover. Bruce Banner's intrusive thoughts. For this poem, we have to pretend that Bruce Banner has a daughter, and that Bruce Banner isn't me. We'll have to pretend that the basement I ride in is his lab, okay? Bruce had a fight with Betty. Bruce's anxiety was out of control. Bruce's OCD was even worse. Bruce's OCD manifests itself as intrusive thoughts. He can't help but articulate out loud, Bruce is about to have his dog put down, just like me. Bruce's dog is going to die, just like mine. Bruce paces the lab. He says, I'm going to die. He says it several times. His daughter overhears. She calls Betty. Dad is saying scary things. I think you should come home. Dad is saying scary things. Dad is having scary thoughts. Betty, who we must pretend isn't my wife, tells her daughter it's nothing to worry about. It's his anxiety. No one knows if it's something to worry about or not, but it's what we tell ourselves. It's what we tell our daughter. Bruce, Betty, and Hulk figure it all out. Let them call Bruce what they want. If he's a cuck, then he's a cuck. But he knows something the alt-right trolls don't. And he didn't find it in a textbook. There are many ways to love and be loved with a woman. Hulk is what he is. Gamma rays. An urge inside of Bruce he's tired of fighting. They both want to give Betty a voice in all of this, whether poetry, science, or both. Bruce wants to put on Betty's lacy nightgown and feel Hulk inside of his body and not just his mind. These are the thoughts he once kept to himself, but he knows there's something inside of him that can't be controlled. And he's finally able to admit he loves being out of control. Couple more. You better fucking believe there's a monster at the end of this book. So you've written a poem about every goddamn person on this street but me. Is that about right? I know my book was scary, but come on, I tried to warn you. Don't turn the page. There's a monster at the end of this book. Did I look like I was kidding? But you had to keep going. Buddy, I hope you're happy, because there's more. That's right, turn those pages, asshole. Look here, that's the birth of Grover's daughter. On page 28, we'll relive Grover's DWI. Page 45, Grover's midlife crisis. Keep going and you'll see my struggle with existentialism. Grover had a hell of a divorce. The name of the monster at the end of this book is cancer. It's addiction. It's page after page of boredom and self-doubt. It's time you stop blaming me. If you could have, even once, just stopped, practiced even a modicum of self-control, you would have never come to that bulbous nose, those longing eyes, that blue fur, even now, sprouting across the compass of your body. You'd have never had to weep at the sounds of your own wavering voice. Almost done. Serious line I thought of in Mania while cooking, liked, then realized it would make a great line in an 80s rock song. I don't take my hot dog out of the microwave until it starts screaming. All right, and the final one, dinged. They say the earth vibrates, a remnant from being dinged by an asteroid or two before memory was invented. They say we can't feel it, but I swear to God I can underfoot, ringing like a plate dropped without breaking in the kitchen. But the world won't just crack open, will it? Won't just open wide, split, will it? I have fears and enemies everywhere. There's the goddamn email, the shadowmen, the Mandela effect, all these superstitions like straightening empty beer bottles at the bar until they barely touch like reluctant lovers. She moves over to turn them to make sure the labels face the same direction, and there they are, a little army. Sometimes you need a woman who will help you straighten bottles so you can say, Dear God, where's the last of that poem? Come on, I'm going to find it. I lost the page somewhere. No, it's a Shithouse Rat. Good book. You should buy it. Damn. I know that was going to be the big ender. Well, poets aren't the smartest of people usually. So, you know. Especially not Nate Graziano, if you ever met him. Okay. So. Here we go. I'm sorry. And there they are, a little army. Sometimes you need a woman who'll help you straighten bottles so you can say, I like the way you straighten them bottles, mama. And sometimes you need a woman who'll knock them down, kill with a fist. But no one can do both right. That's something no one can do. And if they start to fall, that's all right. No one can feel us vibrating. No one knows we're about to split wide open, full of lava and lice. I mean, as long as we're funny, right? As long as we say funny things, no one will know we're about to crack like an egg full of spiders. Will they? I'm done. So let's see if anybody got any questions. I got to look through this thing. Okay. Hey, Rusty. Oh, Rebecca, can I talk about the Facebook group that I started and how it's going? No, because that's for crazies and not normies. Hey, Mary Beth. David Taylor. Cookie. All right. Does anybody have any real questions? All right. Well, Margaret said something nice, but she has to because she's married to me. Gamma Rays is a great book. It's one of my favorite ones. What period of my life do I write most about? Oh, I don't know. I kind of write in bursts. Like I'll go months without writing, then all of a sudden, like I will write a book worth of poems in 2 months, and then I'll take like a year to edit them. But Jeanette, you're right. The shadow men are out there. I don't know why they only bother crazies. I don't know why the sanes don't see them. But if you're crazy, back me up on this. Let's see. Oh, the nails. Somebody wanted to see the nails. Kind of hard to see, but there you go. There are the nails. What does it take from you to read that essay from Rusty? It wasn't easy. Like I said, I've never really read that before. Yeah. So it was a little tough. I read it earlier to Margaret and Jeanette Powers, and I broke up a little bit more than I did this time. So I guess it was better to do it that way, to practice first. So I didn't have a breakdown right here. Yeah. Anybody got any more questions? I could have read more poems. Not that you wanted to hear them. Yeah. Well, I'll give it a few minutes. See what anybody's got to say. Oh, Dave wants to know why I want to talk about why it's important to talk about mental health. Okay, well, I mean, there are a lot of reasons. We're 16 times more likely to be shot by a police officer. 60% of all counties in the United States does not even have access to a psychiatrist. Mental institutions and even beds and ERs are being shut down all the time. If you need a bed, unless you go in and tell them you're suicidal, half the time they won't even take you, even if you're having a hallucination or a delusion, both of which I've had, which are pretty fun. Man, there's just a lot going on, Dave. What do you got to say about it? You say something. Oh, is there such a thing as writer's block? Yeah, not unless your hands are broken, I don't think. There's such a thing as writing bad shit. I throw away most of everything I write. I just put it in the little delete folder because it's horrible. I think the best thing to do if you feel like you have writer's block and you want to write, and I'm not encouraging anyone to write if they don't feel like it, but if you feel like it, sit down, start writing, realize it's going to be shit, and then go from there. You know, who knows what you'll come up. Jeanette Powers, is a heckin' risk to admit you're crazy. I mean, come on. It's like admitting you've got a broken leg or something. Oh, with family and work. Well, I don't know. I do, Dave. I do write a lot of bad shit. But does writing energize or exhaust me? Oh, that's a good question. A little bit of both, I guess. When I'm writing it, it energizes me. When I'm done, I'm sometimes exhausted. Every time I publish anything that's kind of personal at all, I have a lot of anxiety about it, but I still do it because I'm stupid. Oh, what advice would I give to a starting poet? Don't. But if you have to, don't unless you have to. If you can't stop, then don't worry about fame. Don't worry about fortune. Don't even worry about getting published. Worry about writing one good poem in your whole life. If you get one, by the time you're dead, come on. That's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I like your stat there, Garen. 1 in 26 people who have epilepsy increases a number of people with mental illness. That's a stat I didn't know. I like it. What's your favorite poem I've written about Margaret? Sistine McRib. It was a poem about loneliness that I wrote for her. I didn't read it tonight because I feel like that poem has been beaten to the ground. So, you know. $3 minutes? I got 3 minutes. If anybody's got anything else, you know. Take a look at that cool picture back there Jeanette Powers drew. Revel at my beard. Oh, Margaret, about 90% of them been about you in one way or the other. I don't know what you're talking about. Two more. I'm taking all the time I got. We got 2 more minutes. Come on. Someone ask something good. Dave, come on. Margaret, one of you got something. Jeanette, Rachel, somebody's got a good question out there somewhere. Heather, what you got? Anything? Oh yeah, Trailer Park Quarterly. Yeah, that's this online magazine that Rebecca Shumeda makes me do. What am I working on now? I haven't written a poem in a long time. I'm working on mental health essays, and it will probably take a long time, but I hope to eventually have a book of them. I do have a book of fiction coming out in soon from Spartan Press. Yeah. Do I dye my beard? No. But I do want to dye my hair more gray so that it matches with my beard. How am I with uncomfortable silences, Mary Beth? Oh, silence is the best. Wait, okay. Here we go. Oh, what's it like being the great Dan Crocker? Well, it's awesome, Dave. I mean, some days you wake up with so much anxiety you can't even move, but then you realize how great looking and brilliant you are, and everything's okay after that. And then I get a little diet and exercise and nature, and everything's cool after that. Cheryl, what age did I start writing? I can't even remember. I loved poetry from the first time I ever read the Jabberwocky, which is what they gave us in like first or second grade. I memorized it. I don't know. Mike James, do I look like Berryman or Bowie? Depends on my mood. Mary Beth, you calling me a liar? Well, I might be. I'm working on the crazy people essays. All right. I think that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. I hope we started the crazy revolution tonight and that we will all rise up against our normie oppressors. So, yeah, Garen, you're right. All writers lie. That's just part of what we do. We steal and we lie. Oh, Rachel. Yeah, I remember many of my poetry students over the years. Probably most of them. The ones that stood out were the ones who were brave as hell and wrote about stuff that was scary. I appreciated that. You got to give people a little extra love for the degree of difficulty. You know, if you're going to write about something easy and it sounds nice, cool. If you're going to write about something hard and it doesn't sound quite as nice, I think it's better. But that's just me. All right. Good night, everyone. This is over.